Welcome to our live interview with the writers from the Denton Record-Chronicle, powered in part by Classic of Denton. Well, hey everybody, thank you very much for joining us. We are live here at DentonRadio.com. Every Monday we sit down with the oracles of information from the Denton Record-Chronicle, talking about everything from Denton events to Denton business to Denton sports and everything in between. Today we are sitting down with the oracle of information herself on all things Denton events, Lucinda Breeding. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, good. And today we are talking about the Tejas Storytelling Festival.
Yes.
And so take it away.
Yes, this weekend is the beginning of the 33rd Annual Texas Storytelling Festival presented by the Denton-based Tejas Storytelling Association. Now, this is overall a ticketed festival, but there is some free programming that's great for all ages. So I thought what I'd do is kind of go down the calendar here and tell you about some of this free programming. Now, one of my favorite concerts of the entire storytelling festival is always the opening festival concert, Ghost Tales. And this is going to be a free concert. It starts at 7. I know, you can't get better than that, right? Right? It starts at 7 p.m. this coming Thursday. That's March 8th, and that's the opening. It's the official opening of the State Storytelling Festival, and it goes until about 9:15. Now, I will say this. If you're not a ghost story, creepy story kind of person, you either need to be prepared to hear some stuff that might be very creepy, or you might just need to wait for some of the other free programming. I have heard some very, very creepy tales at the opening concert. They tend to be very family friendly. Again, I know not everybody goes for ghost stories, so if you've got sensitive young ones,
sure,
just wait on that. But if you're into it, if you like to go camping and try to freak people out,
right,
that's a really, really great concert. And that is, like I said, that's Thursday, the opening day. And then the next free programming is 9:30 to 10:30 a.m. on Saturday, and that's the McKinney Street School Show and Tell Family Concert.
Awesome.
Yeah, and so one thing I really want to push about Storytelling Festival is that this is a festival that really celebrates the art form, and these are folks who have been telling, many of them professionally, for decades. They know how to incorporate music, magic, and just wonderful imagery and the five senses in their storytelling. You know, last night was the Oscars and a big old hat tip to the movies. And I know that a lot of us are, we're accustomed to entertainment that tries really hard, and storytelling is very simple, but that is not a bad thing.
Right. And
since this is going to be a family program, just expect to be able to bring the kids and have them have a great time with some funny stuff, some sweet stuff, that kind of stuff. Then the next free programs, I don't know, have you ever done a labyrinth walk before?
I've never done a labyrinth walk, no.
A labyrinth is, a lot of people say it's a maze. You can't get lost in a labyrinth, but it is a very, very old traditional sort of religious practice. They're designed in different sort of formats, a lot of them circular, but you start with a single entry and you wind your way through the labyrinth. And in terms of religion, it's supposed to be meditation and action. And if you do a labyrinth walk with other people, it's this beautiful metaphor of being in community, because in certain parts of the labyrinth, you're really kind of by yourself. In other parts of the labyrinth, you're almost surrounded by the other people who are also on their journey. So there's going to be a free labyrinth walk, and that's going to be at 8 a.m. on Sunday morning, which is the closing day of the festival. And all ages can do this. I think, young people might find it interesting or even fun. If you haven't tried it, but you like yoga or you like meditation, you might really, really get a kick out of the Labyrinth Walk. And I'm not exactly sure where they're having the Labyrinth. I don't know if it's going to be at a particular place in Denton or if it's going to be at the Civic Center. Not totally sure about that. But if you go to www.tejasstorytelling.com and click on their festival button, you can find all that information. Now, after the Labyrinth Walk on Sunday morning, Sacred Tales, which starts at 9:30 and goes all the way to 11 a.m., right about church time. Some of the best stories I've ever heard in my entire life have been during Sacred Tales. They usually pull from sort of all kinds of religious traditions. You're always going to get some Judeo-Christian storytelling. And some we've had in the past storytellers who are also pastors actually tell at that particular concert. And really, really fabulous stuff. And if you'd like to do something that is in concert with, I would say, your typical maybe Protestant worship service or maybe even a Sabbath service, but a little different with more voices, Sacred Tales is a good way to spend a Sunday morning and still feel like you've gotten your church on or your Sabbath on.
Yeah.
So I also thought I would remind people who the main tellers are.
Okay.
The featured tellers, now these are the professionals who have told all over the country, very experienced, and are writers.
Yeah.
There's Adam Booth, Beth Horner, Laura Packer, and Tim Tingle. And I'm going to give just a little bit of a rundown. Adam Booth's stories blend a lot of mountain folklore and music with an awareness of contemporary Appalachian life. You know, there's people today living along the Appalachian mountain range. And so he kind of plugs into that culture. Now, Horner's tales kind of run the gamut from the whole childhood farmyard escapades to some eerie folk tales that I guess are kind of native to her Missouri, where she's from. Packer speaks to both the experiences of childhood and adulthood. I like somebody who can still reach back into the magic of childhood. Now, I have watched Tim Tingle tell stories here in Denton for well over a decade. He draws on a very deep Choctaw heritage. So he brings a lot of that really sort of Native American, indigenous sort of storytelling into it. So those are the featured tellers. And chances are, if you come for some free programming, you might end up hearing from some of these folks. And if that gives you a little sample and you want to know more about it, you either can look, we've got the full schedule for the festival on dentonrc.com. If you go and click on the entertainment button, you'll be able to find that. You can also, like I said, go to tejasstorytelling.com. So it is a ticketed festival for the most part, but there's a lot of free programming, and I think it's definitely worth checking out.
Super cool.
Yep.
Super, super, super cool. All right, everybody. The Texas Storytelling Festival happening right here in Denton very soon.
Yep, Denton Civic Center, right? Yes.
Denton Civic Center. Got to get your tickets now. But if you don't get your tickets, we've also talked about some free parts of the festival. We talked about this a little bit the other day, is that if you go and enjoy the free parts of the fest, the rest is going to suck you right in.
It might
so be
suck
careful.
you in. Very well could happen.
Well, thank you guys very much for tuning in with us. We always do appreciate it. We're here every Monday at 2 with the writers from the Denton Record-Chronicle. We will see you again next week. Thank you very much for joining us. Well, thank you for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed the show. Be sure to check out DentonRadio.com for new Denton artists and where they're playing next. While you're surfing the internet, make sure you check out our friends Classic of Denton at ClassicofDenton.com. Welcome to our live interview with the writers from the Denton Record-Chronicle, powered in part by Classic of Denton.
Is today a...
Man, they've been half for weeks. Like, I feel like every day has been another.
Like, okay, was somebody killed on the line of duty?
Okay. Let's do this. Oops.